Being in a long-term relationship can mean two people share a lot of things: a home, pets, children. But what about your email password or access to your smartphone? Here to share her thoughts on whether or not there can or should be privacy between partners, relationship expert Debra MacLeod. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so Ted and I were talking about this.
Right.
He said minefield. I can see how it could be. With couples that you work with, does this come up often?
It's one of the top three, right? It's intimacy, money, or this issue. And especially in the last 10 or 15 years, if you think about it, it's a new issue in a lot of ways. 10 years ago, if a husband was going to go out for drinks after work, he said, I'm not going to be home, I'm going out, and she said, with who? He would never say, that's none of your business. Right? I mean, he'd answer, but we have this, I call it cheat and heart technology, right?
Right.
Texting, Facebook, this kind of stuff, it makes it so easy, and it comes with this, because there's passwords, and because you're very like this, focused on what you're doing, it gives you this artificial sense of, you know, it's my little space or something, and it just doesn't fly in relationships. It just can't.
Okay, so I guess what are you seeing in terms of the conflict?
I'm seeing, this is what I typically see. You can't see my password, and you'll see somebody texting. Who are you texting? None of your business. That's private.
Okay, that seems like that's a bit of a red flag in a relationship.
You think?
Is it not?
You think? Yeah, I would say it's a massive red flag. It's every color of the rainbow flag, right? Because if you have nothing to hide, you hide nothing. And that really is that sort of, I mean, it always reminds me of like, you think a teenager putting a, you know, do not enter sign on their bedroom door or something. It's that level of kind of immaturity almost, right?
Well, it seems like if there are any trust issues in a relationship, it's going to really manifest in that way.
Absolutely, it shines a spotlight, and then it tends to go on and people get entrenched, right? I'm not going to give, there's no way I'm moving on this subject. Well, you know, I have to see it, and then it just snowballs into everything else.
Can it be indicative of just somebody's need or desire for just a little bit of space in a relationship, as opposed to, you know, I have something literally to hide from you?
You know, I think so, but it's one of these things where you have to weigh the pros and cons. Because when you do that, when you do that gesture, it sends out a very clear message. So if you need privacy, you know, get a better lock on the bathroom door, or get another bathroom, or, you know, even go for a weekend or something by yourself. But when you have that, when you look down and you say, that's none of your business, or that's locked, it is a very specific message. You can't see it, and people don't want you to see something because they're hiding something.
Okay, so a couple comes into you, they're having these issues. What do you say? Did they immediately just, you know, reveal their passwords to one another? Or?
Well, I mean, it depends. We'll hammer it out and we'll talk a lot about, you know, what kind of message do you think it sends? But when you see people exhibiting that behavior, it's one of the hardest things to deal with in practice, because people are so defensive about it and they make all kinds of assumptions about it. And that's why it's frustrating, because like I said, 10, 15 years ago, we didn't fight about this. We got enough stuff to fight about, right? Without this.
Yeah, we certainly do.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, let's talk about sort of an expansion then of privacy. I agree with you. I mean, my husband and I, you know, I don't even have email passwords.
Right. I don't know my passwords. I have to ask him, right? Don, what are my passwords? I don't know how to get in.
But what about other forms of privacy? I know money causes a lot of problems when it comes to privacy, private bank accounts and stuff.
Sure.
Where do you draw the line?
You know, it all depends. If it's a younger couple and they're starting out together, having a joint account almost always works better. If you've got so many blended families nowadays and people coming different stages of life and kids and all that kind of stuff, you know, then it doesn't work as well, right? Because you have to protect those kind of things. Right. But for the most part, first marriages, starting out young together, and that's mostly what I do see in my practice, those joint accounts, you know, it just gives a sense of us, you know, like we're in it together, it's you and me against the world. And when you have that separate spending account, it works great in theory. Oh, we'll have our own spending money, but somebody always is a better saver. Somebody makes more money. Somebody has to pay $12 more for the utilities as the phone, and they'll start fighting about that. Right. So it's insane.
So you take out those variables when you can.
Absolutely.
You might as well get rid of them.
That's right.
Now, Debra, if somebody's looking for your help on some of these topics or more, how do they contact you?
MarriageSOS.com is my website.
God, sounds a clear message.
Right.
MarriageSOS.com. We'll put links at breakfasttelevision.ca.